It's Witness Wednesday, and this week, the treasure's been unlocked. What will you witness? Join us and see for yourself.
It's Witness Wednesday. Today we're showing off the fruit of the Spirit: love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control.
And with me, I got the Malak Enoch. Welcome to Witness Wednesday number 4, Fruits of the Spirit. So in this lesson today, we'll be going over what the fruits of the Spirit are according to the scriptures. So we have a presentation set up to show and identify what the fruits of the Spirit really are according to the scriptures. And first and foremost, I want to give all praises, all glory, and all honor to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh, Tawadah, Abba, for allowing us to bring this mighty lesson out through the Spirit. And we are very grateful to be able to teach our people what the fruits of the Spirit are and how to identify them. All praises. Let's get into this presentation on the fruits of the Spirit. We can see here we got a Israelite man. He's got his fringes on. He's dressed up accordingly to the scriptures. Got his ribbon of blue. He's got his fringes on. He's got his beard on. He's a mighty Israelite man. Now, Enoch, let's go ahead and get to the book of Romans. Before we open up into Galatians chapter 5, I need to give some understanding through the scriptures on what the Spirit is. So that way we understand what the fruits of the Spirit is. Remember, it's the fruits of the Spirit. So we have to understand what the Spirit is. Okay? So we're just going to get 2 precepts before we go into Galatians chapter 5.
It's the book of Romans chapter 7 and verse 14. For we know that the law is spiritual, but I am carnal, sold under sin.
So we should know that the law is spiritual. The law, statutes, and commandments, they are spiritual. But I am carnal, sold under sin. We have mortal bodies, fleshly bodies, sold under sin. Our flesh is constantly wanting to do things that we shouldn't be doing. It's the desires of the flesh, the lust of the flesh. That is the carnal man. So we have to deny the flesh and we have to walk in the Spirit. And we just seen in the scripture, we should know that the law is spiritual. So when you're walking in the Spirit, you're walking in the law, statutes, and commandments. Let's get another precept to support that.
John chapter 6 verse 63. It is the Spirit that quickeneth, the flesh profiteth nothing. The words that I speak unto you, they are spirit, and they are life.
It is the Spirit that quickeneth. Quickeneth means to bring something to life. So the Spirit, which we just seen in Romans 7 and 14, that the Spirit is the law. And so the law will bring you to life. It is the law that brings you to life. You can read it like that as well. So the Spirit is bringing you to life. Because if you're in the flesh, you are sold under sin, and the wages of sin is death. So when you're in the flesh, you're walking in death. But if you're in the Spirit, you're brought to life. The word, take your time with that. The words that I speak unto you, they are spirit and they are life. He comes in the volume of the book. The law, statutes, and commandments, those are the words that are being spoken unto us, and they are spirit and they are life. So the fruits of the spirit is going to come from the law, statutes, and commandments and from the volume of the book. So we have a better understanding when we look at the fruits of the spirit, what it's pertaining to. Keep going. And these two verses are in the KJV. From here on out, we will be pulling from the Good News translation.
Galatians chapter 5, verse 22 through 23. But the Spirit produces love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, and faithfulness. Verse 23. Humility and self-control. There is no law against such things as these.
God. So it gives you a list. The Spirit produces these things, and there's 9 of them that it lists. There's 9 characteristics, 9 attributes that the scripture lists, that the Spirit produces. So you should see these manifesting within yourself, within those that are around you. If somebody's saying that they're keeping the law, statutes, commandments, and the faith of Christ, and they serve the Most High God, you should see these fruits producing in that person. You know them by their fruits. What are the fruits? The fruits are the works. The works, you're going to see them. Like you could see the fruits in myself by having my son on here doing this lesson together and teaching him. That's a fruit in itself. It's a fruit of love. I love for him to be on here. It brings me joy. It brings me peace for him to be on here. I have to have patience with him. I have to be kind to him. It's a good thing for us to come together and do this. We're faithful to making sure that we put this class out on time for our people. Humility, right? I have to humble myself down and go to his level and understand that there's things that he's not just going to know everything. It's on me to teach him. And self-control. We have to make sure that we're not too busy doing other things, because in life we can get really busy, right? We got to have some self-control and be like, okay, look, we're gonna link up at this time, and we're gonna sit down and we're gonna produce this lesson. Self-control, right? You're not over there on your phone or on TV or playing a game or playing with your friends or outside doing this or doing that. At this time, you're gonna be ready. We're gonna go and do this lesson. Me, I'm gonna put all other things aside as well, and I'm gonna be here to make sure that we can do this lesson together. Self-control. So you just witnessed one example of how the Spirit produces all of these characteristics, and you should be able to see it. You should be able to see it and know that that's a good fruit. It says, there is no law against such things as these. There is no law against such things as these. Because if you're walking in these, there's no law against you. You're keeping the law, statutes, and commandments. You're on point. You're producing the good fruit that you're supposed to be producing through the Spirit. So there's no law that is going to be against you. The law is there to correct you and show you where you're wrong. The law is for a sinner, not for the righteous man. The righteous man is going to be on point with everything, but the sinner is going to fall short, and he needs to see the law to know where he fell short. And so he can be corrected and know how to move accordingly. And that's how he's going to move in the Spirit. And when he starts moving in the Spirit, he's going to start producing love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, humility, and self-control. Now we're going to go into each one in depth. Not super in depth, but in depth, we're going to give one scripture per attribute. Okay? So we see here, number 1 is love. Number 2, joy. Number 3, peace. Number 4, patience. Number 5, kindness. Number 6, goodness. Number 7, faithfulness. Number 8, humility. And number 9, self-control. So we can see that there are 9 characteristics of the Spirit producing within somebody, producing a good fruit within somebody.
You said earlier, it's not actual fruit, it just means works. So don't get confused when it says fruits. It's not actual fruit. It means works.
God. All praises. Let's go to the first one.
Con. 1 John chapter 5 and verse 3. For love for God means that we obey his commands, and his commands are not too hard for us.
Number one, love. We brought out a scripture to show you exactly what love is. Our love for God means that we obey his commands. That's how you show love, by being obedient to the Most High's commandments. And you're naturally going to show love to your people. That's how you love them, because the laws, statutes, and commandments are set in place so we will not do wrong to our neighbor. And it's, go ahead.
Con. And I said that's the only way. That's the only way to love God, by keeping his commandments.
Gone. And his commands are not too hard for us. They're not too difficult. You can't make excuses. That's not you walking in the spirit. If you're over here saying, oh, this is too hard and that's too hard and this is too much, that's not the right mindset. You have to change your mindset and know that this is for your betterment, for you to keep these laws, statutes, and commandments. You're living a righteous lifestyle. Let's go to number 2.
1 Samuel chapter 2 and verse 1. Hannah prayed, the Lord has filled my heart with joy. How happy I am because of what he has done. I laugh at my enemies. How joyful I am because God has helped me.
So number 2 is joy. And we can see here in Hannah's prayer, the Lord has filled her heart with joy. Joy, she's so happy that she can even laugh at her enemies. That's how joyful she is, that she can sit back and laugh at her enemies. Some people might get frustrated or be out of the spirit because of their enemies, and they're worried or troubled, or there's plenty of things, right, that could happen that could get you out of the spirit when you're dealing with your enemies. But she's sitting back and she's laughing and she has great joy because the Lord has filled her heart with joy. How joyful I am because God has helped me. So we have to realize that the joy that is within us is because we can sit back and look at that the Most High has done for us in our lives, and we can take great joy in that. Number 3.
Come. Hebrews chapter 12 and verse 14. Try to be at peace with everyone and try to live a holy life, because no one will see the Lord without it.
Gone. Number 3 is peace. Try to be at peace with everyone. Try your best. Try your very best to be at peace with everyone and try to live a holy life. We know if we're trying or we're not. Some people's trying is much different than another person's trying. One person is actually giving 100% and the other may only be giving 10%. They're like, well, I'm still trying. Yeah, but are you giving 100%? Because look at the end. It says, because no one will see the Lord without it. Are you trying to be at peace? Are you trying to live a holy life? Because if you don't, you're not going to see the Lord. Your life is going to be full of anger and strife and envy and covetousness and folly. You don't want to live a life like that. Try to obtain that peace that's beyond understanding, and the Most High can give you that. But you got to start working on being in the spirit, walking in the spirit.
Don't make it harder for yourself, or you're going to live in that envy and folly.
Yeah, God. Yeah, you can definitely make this walk much harder on yourself because of your mindset, because of the decisions that you decide to make. Number 4.
Proverbs chapter 15 and verse 18. Hot tempers cause arguments, but patience brings peace.
God. Number 4 is patience. You see, when you're not patient with somebody, it'll cause tempers and arguments. But if you have patience, it will bring peace. So you can't even get the peace that we were just talking about in number 3 if you don't have patience, because the patience is what's going to bring your peace. Very interesting. So we can see that the fruits of the Spirit are working together harmoniously for you to make sure that you check all of them off. You need one to have the other.
An example of patience is like usually those trucks, taco truck, there's a line. You have to be patient. If you cut and go all the way to that taco truck, that's just going to cause more problems and arguments, and then you're probably not even going to get a taco after. So you're going to make it harder for yourself. That's why you need to be patient and wait.
Yeah, if you just imagine there was 20 people online and you just walked up to the front in front of everybody, there's going to be 20 people ready to fight you or at least say something to you and have an argument with you. And if you have patience, you can hear the person out. Even though they cut you, you can be like, hey, I got patience. I got peace. This person just cut him. I've had people cut in front of me all the time. I'm just like, I'm patient. I have peace. I don't know what that person is going through, but they felt the need to go ahead and cut right there. You know, if I need to say something, then I'll say something. But other than that, you know, it's no big deal. I can see past it. Why am I going to get upset? Why am I going to have a temper? Why am I going to be argumentative now? I'm losing my peace because of the decision this person made. If I feel the need, I can go and address them, but this is the patience that the Most High has given us, and also it's going to bring a peace beyond understanding. Right, where your typical person is now gonna go and need to say something and start yelling at them, and you don't know what that person is going through. Whether it was they actually had a legitimate reason or they didn't, it still happened, and you're gonna have to know how to deal with it. And are you gonna get out of the spirit, or are you gonna stay in the spirit? Because we just read we got to try our best to be at peace with everybody. All right. So don't lose your patience, because it's going to cause you to lose your peace as well. Let's keep going. And you can be lacking in one. Say you're lacking in patience. Because you lacked in patience, now you lost your peace. Because you lost your peace, now you have no joy. And because you have no joy, you show no love. It's a trickle effect. So you got to stay on point in all of these.
Romans chapter 11 and verse 22. Here we see how kind and how severe God is. He is severe toward those who have fallen, but kind to you if you continue in his kindness. But if you do not, you too will be broken off.
God. So we see how kind and how severe God is. There's a balance. You see this picture, there's a balance. There's great peace and kindness and love and light and joy and all of that over here, right? It's a beautiful side over here. Over here is withered away in dark. There's the kindness and there's the severity. You can have life or you can have death. Most High can deal with you kindly, or he could punish you. You have a choice. He is severe towards those who have fallen. That means they're in sin. But kind to you if you continue in his kindness. But if you do not, you too will be broken off. So make a decision. We see the kindness the Most High has on us. A lot of us have been through things that we're like, I don't even know how we're still standing to this day. I don't even know how I'm alive. But that was through the Most High's kindness of allowing us to be here at this very moment, to have breath in our body, to be able to speak, see, walk, live. That's through his kindness. For him to give us his word and allow us to understand it and to serve him and be a chosen people, that was because of his kindness. And so we can see how kind the Most High is. And he gave us his son, Yahushua Mashiach, as an example. We seen how kind Christ was when he was washing the disciples' feet. But we also seen how austere he was, to where the disciples wouldn't even ask him a question at times. There's two sides to it, but you have to know how to balance it. So this was number 5, kindness. We're going to move on to number 6.
Chapter 3, verse 18. And goodness is a harvest that is produced from the seeds the peacemakers plant in peace.
Goodness is the harvest that is produced from the seeds the peacemakers plant in peace. Man, we got to take that real slow. Goodness is the harvest. A harvest is a time of gathering, right? So you're going to gather goodness, and it's produced from the seeds the peacemakers plant in peace. So you can't even bring forth goodness without having peace. And so now you're a peacemaker. You know how to be at peace. You are given peace beyond understanding. And now you're able to sow that peace into others' hearts. And now that you sowed that peace into other people's hearts, you see them bringing forth good fruit. Goodness is the harvest. You're seeing people around you. Maybe a brother didn't know he was supposed to be wearing fringes, and you taught him. Hey, Numbers chapter 15, verse 38. Check this out. This is our dress code. And matter of fact, you want to keep the dress code? Okay, Khan, here, I'm going to bless you with some shirts. And now you see that brother, you might only given him 3 shirts, but every time you see him, he's got one of those 3 shirts on. And he's keeping the commandments now. You see goodness happening because you were able to plant that seed in him because you're a peacemaker. So all of these fruits of the Spirit are working together to bring forth this good fruit. And this is number 6, goodness. We're going to go on to number 7.
Psalms chapter 119, verse 90. Your faithfulness endures through all the ages. You have set the earth in place, and it remains.
On faithfulness. Number 7, faithfulness. Your faithfulness endures through all the ages. Faithfulness is something that you can rely on. The Most High is going to be faithful throughout all the ages. Whatever he says, his word don't come back void. That's a faithful saying. Most High says he's going to do it, it's done. He says he's not going to do it, it's not done. We have to be faithful for the truth, right? It says strive for the truth unto death. That's being faithful unto death. Can you endure until the very end? That's going to show whether you were faithful or not. He that endured till the end, the same shall be saved. That's faithfulness. So prove it. You're going to know them by their fruits. Me and Enoch want to be faithful to this Witness Wednesday, to put this out for the nation, for them to be able to be edified and enjoy. And we've been on point. We haven't missed a week yet. We're on number 4. So we're on our first month, but we're being faithful to it and been putting it out every week. All praises to the Most High. So as we're going through these fruits of the Spirit, check it off. And also, don't just check off whether you're doing it, but identify which one you might be weak at. Or if there's multiple, take note of which ones you're weak at. You'll notice your weaknesses and have them become your strengths. Work on them. Let's go to number 8, humility.
1 Peter chapter 5, verse 5. In the same way, you younger people must submit yourselves to your elders, and all of you must put on the apron of humility to serve one another. For the scripture says, God resists the proud, but shows favor to the humble.
God, humility. Number 8, humility. You younger people must submit yourselves to your elders. You got to be humble. Some of you young people think that you know everything. That elder that's standing next to you, he's got a lot of experience, and you can learn from that if you're willing to humble yourself and hear him out and gather his information that he has, gather the experience that he has, and process it, soak it up like a sponge. But if you have no humility, you're gonna just think you know everything and that you're this and you're that, and you don't need no guidance, you don't need no counsel or advice. That's not what the scripture says. You're not being humble. You're not walking in humility. You're puffed up. You're boastful. You're prideful. Everything that the Most High is not pleased with. So learn humility. Put on the apron of humility. That means you're going to go to work. You're going to serve. You need to get up under some elders and serve, to serve one another. For the scripture says, God resists the proud, but shows favor to the humble. So humble yourself. Humble yourself before the Most High. Just know that he's put elders in our lives for us to learn from, for us to get experience from, knowledge, wisdom, teachings, but you have to walk in humility and understand that you don't know everything. That will help you become a better servant. Let's go to the final, number 9, self-control.
Proverbs chapter 5, verse 22. The sins of the wicked are a trap. They get caught in the net of their own sin. Verse 23. They die because they have no self-control. Their utter stupidity will send them to their graves.
God. So you can see that there are some serious consequences to those that have no self-control. And notice we're particularly talking about the wicked. The sins of the wicked are a trap. To who? To themselves. They get caught in their own trap of their own sin. They die because they have no self-control. They can't take their thoughts captive. They live their life on a whim. They're here one day and gone the next. Who told you getting in a BMW and driving 150 on the freeway, swerving in and out of lanes? I forgot there's a particular name for it. Who told you that was a good idea? You have no self-control. You can't just drive the speed limit and be safe? Don't you know if you're driving 150 on the freeway, swerving in and out of lanes, that you could crash into somebody else? Forget yourself, because you are already ready to crash out anyways, and your stupidity is going to send you to the grave anyway. But can't you at least think about somebody else? You might crash into the back of somebody and kill a whole family, or even multiple families. We have to have self-control as servants of the Most High. Discipline. Self-control is discipline. Another way to put it is discipline. Disciples must have discipline. So we have to become disciplined, being able to govern our flesh and deny it. That way we can walk in the Spirit, and we can keep the law, statutes, and commandments and be blameless before the Most High. I'd have two more scriptures.
Galatians chapter 5, verse 24. And those who belong to Hamashiach Yahushai have put to death their human nature with all its passions and desires.
Khan. So walking in the fruits of the Spirit allows you to belong to Yahushua Mashiach, and you have put to death your human nature with all its passions and desires. That's the flesh. To walk and have the fruits of the Spirit means that your flesh is dead. You're not living in all your passions and desires of the flesh. You're walking in the fruits of the Spirit. You're keeping them laws, statutes, and commandments and staying on point, staying blameless, staying holy, staying set apart. Let's finish it out with this last one.
Galatians chapter 5 and verse 25. The Spirit has given us life. He must also control our lives.
The Spirit, we just learned in the very beginning of this lesson, the law has given us life. He must also control our lives. How do we have our lives controlled? Someone might read that and take offense. They might be like, oh, I'm not going to be controlled. Oh, you're just a robot. Well, you have to understand, our lives are controlled because it's dictated by the law, statutes, and commandments. It is dictated by the Most High's word. That's what governs our lives. Just like in America, they have laws set in place and you have to follow them. If the speed limit says 65 and you're going 80, you can get pulled over and get a ticket and be in trouble. You're controlled in a sense, but you can still choose to deviate. And so when you deviate, there's consequences. You're no longer in the Spirit, you're in the flesh. If you were supposed to be driving 65 and you're driving 65, you're a law-abiding citizen. But if you're driving 80, you're in error. You are now a lawbreaker. And so there has to be consequences. And that consequence could be the officer pulling you over and writing you a ticket. Pulling you over, and now you're going to jail. Pulling you over, and now you're going to prison, depending on what offense you cause. So in the biblical aspect, the Spirit gives us life, and we live through the Spirit, and it guides us. The Most High's word guides our path. That's how it controls our life. In a worldly sense, there are laws set up here in America that you have to follow. If you do so, then you're a law-abiding citizen. And if you don't, then you're a delinquent. So with that, family, I hope you utilize the 9 fruits of the Spirit to help guide you to staying in the Spirit and not defaulting back into the flesh. Kill the flesh. Don't walk in the flesh. Don't serve the passions and desires of the flesh. Stay far from it. Stay in the Spirit. You will know them by their fruits. Keep an eye out on yourself and on those around you. And I hope that you all were able to learn how to walk in the Spirit. It's very important for us to stay in the Spirit so that way we are pleasing to the Most High Yahweh, Ba'Hashem Yahushua. And with that, family, me and the mighty Enoch bid you all a mighty shalom.